There's a moment, a brutal, heart-wrenching moment when it finally hits her. At first, she doesn't believe it. She assumes you're just taking time to cool off, maybe trying to make a point. But as the days stretch into silence, as your presence fades into absence, something inside her shifts. Doubt creeps in. The uneasy feeling that maybe, just maybe, you're not coming back. And when that realization finally breaks through, it's like a tidal wave crashing over her, drowning her in emotions she never expected to feel. She starts overthinking, late at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering why she doesn't hear from you anymore. She reaches for her phone, scrolling endlessly through old messages, rereading the conversations where you once poured your heart out. She smiles at the good memories, then winces at the ones where she pushed you away, convinced you'd always be there. The urge to reach out is overwhelming, but pride stops her. What if you don't answer? What if you've already moved on? And that's when the pain truly begins. The man she took for granted, the one who stayed through the mixed signals, the indecisiveness, the times she made him feel like an option, is gone. Not playing hard to get, not waiting in the background, hoping she changes her mind, but truly, finally gone. And that realization, it hurts. Because deep down, she knows she never believed this day would come. But now, it has. And the worst part, there's no going back. Welcome back to Mindful Stoicism. If you've ever walked away from someone who never truly valued you, keep watching, because this is exactly what happens when she realizes you're never coming back. 1. The false sense of security. At first, she doesn't panic. She doesn't feel the loss yet. In her mind, this is just another phase, another one of those silent moments that will eventually pass. She assumes you'll be back, just like before. After all, you've always been there. You've always been the one to check in first, to apologize first, to make things right even when she was the one who messed up. She tells herself that you're just cooling off, that you're probably waiting for her to make a move. But deep down, she doesn't believe she needs to. She's seen this pattern play out before. She pulls away, and you chase. She acts distant, and you try even harder. Why should this time be any different? Days go by and she still feels confident. Maybe she even enjoys the space at first. She thinks, he's probably thinking about me. He's just trying to prove a point. She's convinced that she still has control, that whenever she decides to reach out, you'll be right there, waiting. But something feels different this time. The usual text from you doesn't come. The casual, "Hey, how are you?" never appears. She notices, but she pushes the thought away. He'll come back. He always does. Yet, what she doesn't realize is that you're not following the script anymore. You're not playing the role she expected. You've stepped out of the cycle, and with every silent moment that passes, she unknowingly inches closer to the harshest realization of all this time. It's not a game. This time, you're really gone. 2. The unexpected absence feels unnatural. At first, she barely notices the silence. She assumes you're just busy, maybe giving her space. She even tells herself it's a good thing you'll come back eventually, like you always do. But then, something shifts. Days turn into weeks, and you're still silent. No texts, no calls, no subtle signs that you're waiting for her to reach out. That's when it starts to feel unnatural. Your absence isn't just a temporary break anymore. It's a void, a missing piece of her daily routine. She used to expect your name popping up on her phone, the good morning texts, the late night check-ins, the way you always responded, no matter what. But now, nothing. And that nothingness feels suffocating. She starts noticing the little things. The way no one asks how her day was the way you did. The way there's no one to listen when she vents about something trivial. She never realized how much she had gotten used to your presence until now, when it's completely gone. And the worst part? She never thought you would be the one to disappear. She thought she had control. She thought you'd always be there, waiting, hoping. But now, there's no reassurance, no hint of your return. She checks her phone more often than she wants to admit, expecting to see a notification from you. But every time she doesn't, the truth digs deeper. You've changed. You're not reacting. You're not chasing. And that's when the unease turns into panic. Because the moment she realizes your absence isn't an act, but a decision, is the moment she understands. She might have lost you for good, and nothing feels more unnatural than that. 3. The social media stalking begins. At first, she resists the urge. She tells herself she doesn't care, that you'll come back like you always do. But as the days stretch into weeks and the silence remains unbroken, curiosity starts gnawing at her. What is he doing? Is he missing me? Has he moved on? That's when the social media stalking begins. She opens your profile, heart pounding, scanning for any sign of struggle, any hint of regret. She wants to see a cryptic quote, a sad song lyric, or a post that screams you're still hurting over her. Something, anything to tell her that you're not really gone. But instead, she finds something much worse. Nothing. You haven't posted anything emotional. No sad updates, no desperate attempts to get her attention. Maybe you've even gone silent, refusing to let the world or her see what you're thinking. That alone makes her uneasy. But if you are posting, if she sees you smiling, out with friends, living your life like she never existed, that's when panic sets in. She starts analyzing every detail. Who liked this post? Who commented? Who's that girl in the background? She checks timestamps, replays stories, and watches for any sign that another woman has entered the picture. And if she sees you engaging with someone new, liking a post, leaving a comment, it stings like a dagger to the heart. That's when she realizes she's the one obsessing now. She's the one waiting for your next move, desperately hoping for a sign that you're still holding on. But deep down, a sickening truth starts to settle in. You're not chasing anymore, and nothing terrifies her more than the thought that you might actually be happy without her. 4. The overthinking and regret. This is where the real torment begins. The silence that she once dismissed as temporary now feels deafening. The confidence she once had in you returning starts to crumble, replaced by an unsettling realization she might have actually lost you. And that thought, it lingers in her mind, creeping in at the most unexpected moments, refusing to let her rest. Late at night, she lies in bed staring at the ceiling, replaying every interaction. The words she said, the choices she made, the times she ignored your efforts, it all comes flooding back. She thinks about the moments you were there for her, the way you always showed up, the patience you had even when she pushed you away. And now, with no way to turn back time, she starts to see things clearly. She reopens old messages, scrolling through conversations that once felt insignificant. The compliments you gave her, the deep conversations, the late-night talks where you shared your dreams and vulnerabilities. She sees the way you tried to understand her, tried to be what she needed, tried to make things work. And suddenly, it hits her. She was the one who let this slip away. Regret is a cruel companion. It doesn't just whisper, it haunts. Every time she sees a couple walking down the street, every time she hears a song that reminds her of you, every time she picks up her phone and fights the urge to message you, it stings. Because now, she's the one feeling the loss. Now she's the one wondering if you've moved on, if you're happier without her. And the most painful realization of all, you're not thinking about her the way she's thinking about you. You've accepted the past and walked away. But she's stuck in the very trap she set for you. 5. The emotional breakdown. At first, she tries to ignore it. She distracts herself, going out with friends, keeping busy, pretending it doesn't bother her. But late at night, when the world quiets down and there's no one left to impress, it all starts to unravel. The weight of your absence is no longer something she can brush aside. And that's when the emotional breakdown begins. She lies in bed, staring at the ceiling, her mind racing with thoughts she can't escape. Why didn't I see this coming? Why didn't I appreciate him when I had the chance? Is it too late? She scrolls through old photos, old messages, each one a painful reminder of what she let slip through her fingers. She starts replaying every moment she ignored your calls, every time she dismissed your effort, every little sign she thought she could overlook. But now they haunt her. The regret hits her like a storm. It's not just sadness, it's the crushing realization that she may have lost something truly rare. The man who once made her feel safe, who showed up for her no matter what, has changed. And it's not the kind of change that's temporary. It's the kind that comes from deep disappointment, from realizing your own worth, from walking away with no intention of looking back. She might try to fight it. She might reach out, send a late-night message, or even try to act casual. Hey, how have you been? Hoping to get even a sliver of your attention. But deep down, she knows it won't be the same. And that's what hurts the most. Because she thought you would always be there. But now, you're not. And the pain of losing you, truly losing you, is something she never prepared for. A Stoic man knows when to walk away. He doesn't beg for love. He doesn't cling to what no longer serves him. He values himself enough to detach when respect is no longer given. So if you've stepped away from someone who didn't appreciate you, remember, her realization means nothing if you've already moved on. The moment she realizes you're not coming back is the moment you've already won. Stay strong, stay stoic. Subscribe for more mindful stoicism.